Get ready.
You're listening to Pirated Radio. Get ready to walk the plank.
I thought we agreed we weren't going to get them to do that bit at the end. No, but do you not think it makes us sound a bit like children's entertainers or something? I mean, I'm not. Yeah, but we discussed it. We weren't going to. Like, what does it even mean in the podcast? It's not. Hello and welcome to the second episode of Pirated Radio. In the second episode, I speak to a lovely lady called Aleenah, who's on my course at university, and we talk about a few different things such as her career, how she got into design, and also we touch on whether the design industry is diverse enough. I believe that's it. I hope you enjoy. How do you walk the plank? George, you know we're not actual pirates, don't you? So guys, first off, do you want to give people that might want that maybe listening to things that are a little introduction to yourself and maybe how you got into design?
Yeah, sure. So, hi, I'm Aleenah. I'm currently studying second year at uni. I've been doing freelancing since November 2017, so that was my first year of college. Essentially, how I got into design was that I was choosing my A-levels. I didn't want to go to the high school sixth form, so I went to the college near me, and I was looking around on the website, seeing what courses they're doing. I was looking at computer science because I was into that kind of stuff, and then it came across creative media, and that was graphics, video production, game production, and stuff. So then I was like, oh, this sounds cool. So when I went to the open day, I looked at that first, and then I had my heart set on that. So I went in, didn't know anything about graphics. I'd never done it before. I didn't even do art for GCSE, which a lot of people have done. And I went in, I really enjoyed it. So then I think in the middle of the first module of that course was graphics, and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. We designed a film poster. It was an event poster, so I chose a film festival. So then in the middle of that course, I went on Twitter and I searched graphic designer, and I saw that loads of people list loads of jobs there. So people can I have this, can I have that? So I found this girl, she was called Helena, I think, and she needed some cloud little animation-y graphics for her uni course, which she was making into an app. So I contacted her and I did her work, and I got paid £5 my first wage, and that was how I got into graphics.
I didn't know that, so it's kind of a nice way to learn about each other. If you want to know about me, I did it, so this would be 10 years ago now that I first started doing graphics, because I'm old, I am. But I just found a tutorial. Well, if you want to go back even further than that, we were in DT at school, and we were sketching. We had this exercise where we'd sort of scribble on a piece of paper, and then we'd pick shapes out of the scribble and then turn that into an object or something like that. And I did it. And there was two ovals that I picked out and a triangle that I don't know why. I was like, that looks really cool. So I started just doodling that on my sketchbooks in different lessons. And then from there, I tried to do it in Paint, and I did it in Paint, and the stuff that I did in Paint when I was 13, which is horrible. And then I think on YouTube, I bumped into a tutorial of somebody doing something on Photoshop. It's just sort of snowballed from there, really. But yeah, that's how I did it. But I think that's the case a lot of the time. People, whereas you get into it through YouTube and stuff now, don't you? Instead of the traditional way of doing it.
On Twitter, I found a lot of 12-year-olds. They're on there and they're like, oh, I can make you a banner and stuff. I'm like, wow, you're quite young.
Yeah, it's really surprising, isn't it? I guess from there, do you have any plans for after we finish the degree at all?
So I really want to work abroad, specifically Dubai, because that's where my sister's at the moment, because that's just a nice hot place away from cold UK.
I've never been to Dubai. I'd love to go to Dubai.
It's a lovely place. So I want to work abroad, but I do also want to do freelance. So I'd like to work in an agency or some kind of business for a few years just to get that experience. And when I feel I'm fully ready, because obviously I do it on the side right now, but I don't make a proper income because I've got uni, so I stop it for uni and stuff because it's just too much. I'd like to get some experience and then hopefully completely freelance one day. That'd be cool.
Well, when I was speaking to Sam yesterday, she was talking about, because that lady that came in from Cafe, and she was talking about how people go into industry for 3 years and then start their own company. So I suppose there's no reason you couldn't essentially now jump out of a uni degree, could you, and then just start your own company?
Yeah, I know one of the girls that I'm friends with off Twitter, she owns her own business, and I don't know if she's worked for thing, but she's been doing her freelance business for like few years now. So that's kind of cool.
The next question I have for yourself, changing gears a little bit, was just sort of, where do you see the future of design? And I mean that in the sense of, I guess, both people, working on freelance, because I guess nowadays, given COVID as well, you can work for anyone, anywhere, can't you, essentially? If you wanted to work for people in Africa, in Japan, right now, you get them on like a call like this, you just talk about your ideas and then you do some work with them. As opposed, 10 years ago, that wasn't the case more so. Do you think that's maybe the future? Do you think that people will work actually in offices in the future?
See, with like COVID and stuff, people have worked from home. So it shows that like you can work from home. You don't need to go into an office, especially with graphic design, because that's mainly computer based. You don't have to go and like physically see people if you needed to. You could do like video calls and stuff. So I feel like a lot of people will work from home in the future, and that'll just become normal. Like there's a lot more remote jobs going out as well. And then like you have things like different countries, for example, they're like promoting, oh, you come stay on our island, you can work remotely. So I think a lot of people will just be like traveling around the world and they'll just like work from wherever they want to, but then they'll still get a decent income from somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the way it's going as well. I think it'll slowly get sort of to the point where everybody just works from home and does things like through VR and AR and weird stuff like that. It's things like cutting, I mean, you can spend more time with your family, can't you, if you're doing it from home? And then there's things like cutting carbon emissions and things like that. If you're not driving, you're not reflecting the earth and things like that.
And you're a lot more like productive at home just because you don't have to travel anywhere. So you can like spend longer on stuff.
Yeah, I've had that. I've been a lot more enthusiastic about doing stuff as opposed to when I go into uni. Again, changing gears a little bit, I wanted to ask you, because obviously you're a lady of colour, and given that you've probably have a completely different perspective to me on this, do you think there's enough diversity in the world of design? And I mean that in sort of from education upwards, because I had the thought last night as well, and I was thinking about this, and I can't think of somebody who I've come across in education in terms of design that isn't white. Like I can't think of anyone who I've had who isn't white, and whether that's just a Stoke thing or that's a thing further afield, I don't know. But
I think it's like a lot of South Asian people, like Indian, Pakistani, like Bangladeshi, that kind of people. They don't want to go into the arts. Like they aren't encouraged. Like my parents, they say do whatever, what makes you happy, as long as you get a degree. Because my mum never got a degree, so she's like, get one. That's nice. So as long as we do anything, she's fine. And she sees that I'm passionate and stuff, so she's just like, do whatever you want. But a lot of South Asian people, they want their kids to be doctors or engineers and stuff, and they don't really get time to explore the kind of art. So like I don't think I've seen many South Asian, like Asian people in design and stuff, but I did get added onto a Twitter list probably a few months ago now, and it was quite nice because it was all about Asians in advertising, so anywhere from like China to like India, anywhere. It's just like a list of different people, and you can like see who's in advertising, and that's kind of nice to see.
Do you think we're on the path towards maybe, culturally for yourself, do you think it's less of a taboo to do things in sort of the creative industry?
I think so, just because a lot more people are standing up to it now, and say 20 years ago, people would have been like, okay, I'll just become a doctor or whatever because it's high earning, we pay well. But now they want to explore themselves a lot more, especially with like social media on the rise. People get to explore themselves more. And I think, they just want to go into design a bit more. Though I haven't really seen a lot of Asian people like personally in like design, like graphic design. Maybe
you can be sort of an advocate for that, because I haven't seen many people, like that out there. So maybe you could be the person, do you know what I mean? And then I guess staying on that sort of vein of things, but changing it a little bit differently. And this question kind of stems from, like, I think, I'm kind of into type and stuff like that. I was looking into studying an MA in type design, and I can't remember the uni it was at, but it was in England somewhere. And a part of the course is they get you to design scripts in different languages that you're not necessarily familiar with. And I wanted to sort of ask yourself, do you think it's appropriate for somebody like say, for instance, myself, if I design something for a Japanese market, do you think that's appropriate given the fact that I know essentially nothing about Japanese culture? Or do you think that's fine? Or
no, I think that's chill, to be honest, because like as long as you don't like appropriate things, as long as you appreciate the culture and you don't sound too uneducated when you're doing it, like you got to study it well first. But as long as you do that and you're like respectful to like their culture and traditions and kind of stuff, and like how they learn and stuff, I think that's fine to do that.
Mm-hmm. There was something that I had a sort of, because I'm a mod of a couple of Facebook groups with people post design, and there was a gentleman from Asia that posted a logo for it was an investment company, and in the logo it had an upwards pointing arrow, but it was red. And my thinking was, you've gone about that the wrong way, because red is normally sort of a negative thing, especially in sort of finance and things like that. Red is seen as loss, isn't it? And then green is seen as, positive. But I spoke to him about it, and as it turns out, in sort of the Asian world, red is seen as a lucky color, isn't it? So to have a red logo, especially in finance, it makes perfect sense. And I think if you are going to work with different people from abroad and things like that, you really need to study like the culture and things like that. Because I think oftentimes if you go in it with a Western sort of mindset into sort of an Asian mindset, there may be things that are completely flipped opposite, if you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, especially how I think it's China, but they have the red money packets for Chinese New Year, so obviously that equals wealth.
I think that's probably where it comes from, to be fair. And then I guess last question: where do you see yourself being? It's a bit cliche. This. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? If you were to take a guess now.
I would probably, I don't know, I would have liked to had some experience abroad, maybe like a year or two, just something like that. Probably, hopefully, have a job doing some kind of design stuff, probably graphic design, but app design is also quite interesting, like how we learned that in the last module of uni. So that was quite interesting, the whole design process. So maybe something with that, just hopefully have a job.
I'm trying to think of any other questions I can think of. Is there anything you wanted to talk about, I guess? Have you got anything?
Just about my whole, it's like on Twitter you have 1 minute briefs. I'm a big advocate of 1 minute briefs because obviously I'm like their ambassador and stuff, and I sort out the Instagram page. So I just say for people trying to get, because I like advertising as well, that's really interesting to me. So if you want to get into that kind of stuff, just have a go at that. And there's loads of prize briefs as well. Every single day, we've had for the past week, 400 odd pounds worth of prizes. So if you were interested in design and stuff, just have a go, feel free, and you might win something.
Just for people that might be interested, can you elaborate a bit more about what you do with 1 minute? Well, not specifically you, but the idea behind 1 minute briefs. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. So essentially you get a brief of the day, advertise this, advertise that, and then people all over Twitter, they'll come up with different scamps or adverts with fancy little lines or design and stuff, and then you basically post it, people like it and stuff, and then you get chosen as a winner. And if it's just a advertise, say bananas, you just get recognition. But if it's something we had WWF advertise World Wildlife Day for that, then that'll go to WWF. They'll shortlist their favorites, choose their favorites, and then you ultimately win prizes. It just earns you more recognition. You get to network a lot more. I've got over 600 followers on Twitter just because of 1 minute briefs, because you follow everyone, they follow you back. So it's a nice place to network as well.
Probably good plug in them, especially if there's people listening to this that are maybe just getting into design and things like that. It's a really good community to get into, isn't it?
They're also friendly as well.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? And I guess lastly, where can people find you? Do you want to plug all your Instagram and your Twitters and things like that?
Yeah, so I'm more active on Twitter just because of the 1 minute brief stuff. So I'm at Aleenah_14 there. I do have Instagram, but I don't tend to post a lot because I'm just a bit lazy. So that's 42B Studios. On Instagram and stuff. And that's really it, to be honest. But follow me on Twitter. Oh yeah, my portfolio is 42b.card with 2 Rs.co.
I hope you enjoyed that. There's more to come. I have got a couple of new episodes in the pipeline as well. I realised as well in the first episode I didn't actually plug my own social media, so if you want to follow me online and you want to interact, my Instagram is @PiratedMaterial. My website is piratedmaterial.co.uk. You can use .com, but I think it redirects to .co.uk. And yeah, if there's any students out there, new designers that are listening to this that maybe think, there's a topic they'd like to discuss, drop me a message and I'm happy to have you on. Anyway, I'll catch you later.